Hello, it's Code here. Welcome to another tutorial. Today I want to show you around Adalo, and I'm going to be showing you how to build your own mobile application using Adalo. It's going to be a getting started tutorial, so I'm going to show you your way around colors, database, putting stuff on the screen, displaying things on the screen, just all the basics that you need to get started in Adalo. So if this is your first time watching my channel, feel free to subscribe, and if you have a comment, do well to leave your comment. And if you're looking forward to building your application, click on the link below. I'm pretty sure we can talk and see how we can get you from zero to launching your application in record time. I'll see you in the tutorial. Let's get started. So while we're going to be learning the basics of Adalo, we are also going to be building something special. It's going to be a listing application. So this is a much requested application by a lot of folks building stuff with Adalo. It's going to be a listing application that uses some of the geo features that you find in Adalo. I'll do well to make the tutorial as short as possible. So we're going to be having pages like the launch pages, the sign-in pages, the service pages. We might not build everything as it is right now, but the reason why we're doing it like so is so that you would have a hang of how different parts of Adalo really works. So we're also going to be taking care of the database feature in this application. So I'm going to explain to you what Adalo database is, how Adalo database works, and how you can use it to build very simple application. So primarily, Adalo can handle very huge application. Actually, it depends on how you're building it. You could use an external database or an internal database, but it really depends. So I'm going to answer some of the questions that you might have when it comes to building products with Adalo. So we're going to be building pages like the booking pages, the select a task. So this is an application where somebody who can perform a task come right there to say, hey, I can perform a task like this, and then you go ahead, you hire that person, and then you can leave comments right to that particular person. So that's basically the way it works. I'm pretty sure we've seen some of these type of applications before. So you can see like different tasks in the application, like home cleaning, electrical help, and then you see people who are into those tasks. So when you click into that person, you are able to see what the person is all about, the person's name, their job, their vehicles. You're able to see all of these things that they do, and then you can book if you want to. So I know this application has this particular app has a lot of screens, so 30 minutes might not be enough to run through the end. So I'm pretty sure at the end of this tutorial you're going to have the basics of building application in Adalo. So let's get started. So the first thing you want to do is to ask yourself exactly what am I building for? Am I building for a mobile, or am I building for both tablet, mobile, and desktop? This time we're going to be building for mobile only. Why? Because we want to put our applications on the Play Store and on the App Store. So once I've selected my type of application, I'm going to click next, and Adalo presents me with some templates that I can use, like to do, social media template, trips template, but I'm going to be selecting a blank template, and I'll click next. Here it's asking me to put the name of my application. The name of my application right here is Align, and it's a cool name, right? And it's going to ask me, what do I want to use the application for? I would say customers of my startup. And I'm gonna just pick a theme, so it's fine. You can pick a theme if you have a lot of theme in your application, but I'm gonna stick with my current theme. And here it's asking me to put my primary color and my secondary color. Color is something that a lot of us struggle with, right? But you don't really have to struggle with it. If you go to coolors.com, or you can just say color. You can say app color scheme generator, right? If you say app color scheme generator, you're going to see a whole lot of folks telling you about color. So I'm going to click on this Canva color generator right here. So if you upload a particular image to your Canva color generator, you should actually see the palette that you can use, right? If you can upload an image and it will tell you a palette, and you can actually just click on any of this palette and it becomes a color for you. But if we go back to our board right here, So the primary color that we're using right here is this green color. So I'm going to copy this color and use it as my primary color. But if you want to understand color, you can actually go to just color palette generator. Let's just click on this and see what comes up. But there's a particular tool by Canva. This particular tool by Canva will enable you to understand what color is and how color can be used in your application. So here you can see there are different types of color. We have the complementary color, we have the monochromatic color, we have the analogous color, we have the triadic color, and we have the tetradic color. But it's super straightforward. So a complementary color is there are two colors that are opposite the color wheel. So what you can see right here is the color wheel, right? So if I go back here and I take this green, I'm gonna just click on this design right here and edit theme. Right, firstly, it's just a tool that you can use to create Figma-like prototype as fast as possible. Okay, so this is my color, my green color right here. So I'll just copy my green color and put it in the Canva color wheel. So if I put it in the Canva color wheel and I choose on the tetrahedric color and come back to my board, you would see that this is just very similar to what we have here. So we have the green, we have the yellow, we have these other three colors. If I come back to the color wheel, you would see that they are very, very similar colors, right? So you can just think of any color that you have in mind, or think of a color that you've seen in other application and paste it here. For example, if I'm going to be using a blue, right, and I'm choosing that I want 4 colors, I'm going to be having these color options to work with. But to just make sure that you're on a safe space, it's cool that you use one color and one single color, then add black and white to it, shades of black and shades of white to it, plus that color. That will make it awesome for you. So you don't have to look for every color under the sun to use. One color as your primary color that you can use for your buttons, your call to actions, and then you add shades of white and shades of gray to that particular color, and it's going to be very, very awesome for you. So let's go back here. I'm going to choose this color as my primary color, right? So I'm coming back here, I'm going to choose this. So we still have the green, different shades of green right here as my primary color. For my secondary color, I'm going to choose something else as my secondary color. This is me right here, just going to choose this as my secondary color. Then I'll hit create. So once I hit create, Adalo provides me with some default buttons, default screens that I can use. So we have the default screens acting with the primary color acting as my background, and then with the secondary color acting as my call to action. But we can actually switch these over. So I want my primary color to be my call to action and my secondary color not to be my background at all. So I'm going to come back here and just copy my primary color all over again, and come back to Adalo and click on branding, and I'll click on my secondary color and just call it right here, right? Then my primary color, I'm going to come back here quickly and paste it in here, right? But I don't want this to have a background, so I'm going to click on this top card, and I'm going to click on the edit styles, and I could say white background, or I could just give it no background. But it's not cool for you to use white always as a background, so it's cool that you use a shade of white. So I can give it a very close, something very close to white, right? Like an F5, right? So it's not going to be so white. It's not going to be white, but you can actually use it. You can actually make sense of it, but it's not going to be a white color. So I think I'm supposed to have F5, right? And then we'll give it like a 50%, like 30%. Yeah. So we don't have a pure white here. and it's fine. So that's how you would get started with building stuff with Adalo, just choosing your primary color and choosing your secondary color. So if we go back to our application right here, you would see that we have a couple of things in our application. First, we want users to be able to sign up and log in, and secondly, we want users to be able to register services. So I'm not going to work here all the way via database. So if you want to watch a video about database, feel free to just click on any of the check out my channel. You would see videos about database in my channel. So you would see that we have categories. So you can see that categories will have name and they will have images, and probably they will have descriptions, right? So we'll come back here and click on our database, add collection, and just call it category. So I know you might be asking, how do I really know what type of database? How do I really know what to name, what to call a collection and what not to call a collection? So think of it that in those days, they would tell me in primary school that a noun is the name of a person, animal, place, or things. So what I do is that in my application, I group everything that it's a noun, right? Everything that people do in my application, I just call it a noun. For example, if we come back to this application, we will see that people have to create tasks. You know, they have to, a user must sign in, so that's a collection. The app would have a lot of category, that's a collection. They will have bookings, right? That's a collection. They would have task, yeah, that's a collection. So a person would say, this is what I do, this is how I do it. That's a collection. So there's going to be review, right? That's a collection. So you see, there's going to be chat. So two persons are able to chat with each other on the application, and there's going to be rating. So all of these things are all now, and we can actually give them their own collection to use in the application, right? So let's start with our category. So for our category, we're going to have name. So we'll rename this category name. So I love to use the camel case when I rename applications. So I'm going to call it category name. And the next thing is going to be our image. It's going to be category image and save. And the next is going to be the next is going to be the category description. So I'll delete. Next is going to be the category description. So I'm going to call this category underscore description, right? And I'm going to call this save. So right now we have a category, and now the next thing for us to think of, what kind of task are we going to be putting inside this category? So if you come back here, if you come back to the application, to the application, you would see that this guy has task called house cleaning. He has task called mounting, right? So that means we're going to be having a whole lot of tasks, and they are going to be inside the category. So a person can come around, or pardon me, we're going to have a whole lot of taskers, right? Taskers like people, and they're going to be signing up for a particular category, right? So let's go to the profile of the person. So we can see that I'm going to scroll a bit. I'm going to zoom in. Okay, I can't really zoom in, but let's go to the screen. So I'm going to use this to zoom in a bit. So this is the task. So we have the status of the tasker, we have the name, we have their description, we have the viral jobs, how many jobs they've done, we have the vehicle, we have vehicle if they have it, we have tools, so we have review for that particular person. So now what we're doing, we're just creating database for our application. We're seeing how all the database connect together. So we have a user, and we have the two type of user in our application. We have one person who will come around and look for a task, and we have another person who himself is a tasker. So we're going to click here and just put a test in here, and we'll say role. So a role, a person will either be a tasker or somebody who is carrying out a task. So we're going to have a role, and then we're going to have description of the person, right? Description of the person. We're going to have profile image of the person, right? profile image of the person who's carrying out the task. We're going to have, what else are we going to have? We're going to have a boolean. So when I'm adding right now, they are data types, right? They are data types. So we have different type of data types. This is not an Adalo standard data type. This is just very common data type that you see everywhere you go. So these are common type of data type. We have test. Test is a string. So you will call a test a string and a string is a test. So a string is anything that would contain both numbers, alphabet, full stops, anything. For example, if you're typing a text message on WhatsApp or you're writing an email, that email can include any type of character, and that character can be a string, it can be a test, it can be anything that you want it to be. So we also have numbers, right? Numbers are called integers. You can also have numbers which are integers. You can also have true or false, which are booleans. So booleans are true or false. So just like maybe you're saying, is it cold or hot? So you see, the weather can either be cold or hot. Is it up or down? So a thing can either be up or down. It can't really be in the middle. Then we also have date and time. We have date. We have images like you would already know. We have file, and then we have location. So location is a custom Adalo data type, especially if you're creating an application that requires users to search for a location in your application. So we're going to come to that very soon. Hopefully we'll be able to cover this in 30 minutes. This is some sort of a crash course, right? So now the next thing we want to add a reference, right, between two persons. So for example, because in our application, because we know that a user will belong to a category, right, and a category can have many users, right? So if I'm coming to sign up for an application as a tasker, I can only have one category, right? I can only belong to a category. So I cannot be a cleaner and be a driver at the same time, even though some applications allow you to do that. But in this application that we're building, you can only be a cleaner or a driver or a mason or somebody who shops for other people. You can only be one thing at a time, right? So if we click on this category right here, and we say we want to add a new property, and the property we want to add, it's called a relationship. With who? With a user. So you would often see different type of relationship that you want to use. For example, we have this first relationship called one-to-many relationship. So you can see a user can have many categories and a category belongs to a user. But that's not proper in the application we are creating right now, because we are looking at it that a user can only have one category and a category can have multiple users, which is actually the second one. Right, the second one. But we can also see the last one. A category can have multiple users and a user can have multiple categories. So you normally use this in a group. So if you're building an application like probably Reddit, or you're building a Twitter application, a social media application, you will see that a person can message many persons and many persons can message one person, right? One person can message a lot of people on WhatsApp, and a lot of people can message one person on WhatsApp. So that's a many to many relationship. Or if you are building an application that requires two users to follow each other, you basically see that one user can follow many persons, and many persons can follow one user. So you would basically use these depending on the thing you want to achieve, depending on the result you want to get from your application. So in this tutorial, we're going to be using the one-to-many multiple users. That's what we're going to be using. So click done, right? And this I'm going to call it category user categories. So one thing that you'll notice is that once I create it here, Adalo also create a duplicate copy here, and Adalo is calling it category. So I'll just call it my category over here. So what you're doing, why you create relationship, is that it enables you to pull the data. It enables you to show that the data, particular data, belongs to a particular person. So that's what you're trying to do when you're building application like this. Okay, so let's go forward. So we also have other categories that we want to create. If we come back here, we also want to create a review system. So for a review system, you want users to be able to create a task, right? To create a task and then leave a review. That's what you want to do. The users are able to get a service from a tasker, right? Get the service from your tasker, and then once you're done with that particular service, you want them to leave a review for that particular tasker. And also you want to tell the person who left the review, right? So this is how we do. We add another database value, another database collection, and we're going to call this a review. So remember, we want to make this app as simple as possible. We will not be able to polish the application the way we want to, but I just want to show you around Adalo within a short period of time. So we're going to say this is going to be the review, right? This is going to be the review, and then we're going to say who's the review for, right? Who's the review for? And so we're going to have the user. So a review can have multiple users. A user can have multiple review, and a review belongs to one user. Okay. So here we have reviewed by. So remember, we need to have two persons here. One of that person is the user who created the review, right? The user who created the review and the user who is leaving the review. So we have two persons. It's just like when you leave a comment on Twitter, you have many persons. So one person have to create the post and the other persons have to leave the comment, and you need to identify both of them. So here we're saying who created the review and who is the review for. So here we're saying reviewed by, and then we're creating another relationship with the user. And we say a user can have one review and a review belongs to many users, or a user can have multiple review and a review belongs to one user. So we can also say yes, right? Relationship with a user. But another way we can do this, if this is confusing, is that we can take this away. We can just take this away, right? And we can just call it email. So we can fit out with the email with the email of the user who created the review. Review for. So this can be the email of the person who created the review, right? Who the review is for, and then we have reviewed by the person who is reviewing, who the job was done for, right? And we need another thing. We need a date. We need a date and a time, not a date. So a date and a time is fine. We need a date of review, right? And then also we need image of work. So since we are running a task system, so we want to understand what image, what kind of image are we, how it was before and how it is now. So if they can send image of their work, it's going to be really, really, really perfect, right? So now we have the user, we have the review, and then we have the category. So let's go to our board again and see what we have. So we have reviews. Okay, now we also have ratings, right? So let's go back here, go back to our review. We have ratings. So we have number and then we have ratings, right? So let's go back to our board and see what we can find again. So let's go back here. So we have task details. We have task details. Okay. So I think that's fine. So that's fine. So for the user, we have to come back here and just put a number here that's called rate. So rate. So this is gonna be money. So rate in dollars. This is gonna be money. And lastly, we can do something here and just call it support. So maybe we want to leave a support right here. We just call it support, and this is going to be ticket number, right? And then we have the next. We're going to have the ticket test itself. Right, and then we're going to have the date the ticket was sent. and then we're going to have who sent the ticket, and that's going to be a relationship. So a user can have multiple support. A support belongs to one user. That's what we're going to be doing. That's what we're going to be doing. Ticket owner, like so. So that's what we'll do here. So I'm just going to go ahead and fill out some of this information. I'm going to add a category right there. I'm going to add a category. So the first category, I'm going to call this cleaning, home cleaning. Home cleaning. I'm going to add an image to it. Forgive me, I'm going to use images that might not really correspond with what we're trying to achieve. So you'd have to forgive me on this one. So I'm going to use some image. So description, I'm going to find a lorem ipsum and just use that as my image, as my description, right? And I'm just going to say save, right? Then I'll add another one more. I'm going to say this is going to be waiting. So it's going to be waiting, and I'm going to look for some images. So I'm using just random images. So I'm going to say save, and that's all I have to do. So remember our application, if we go back here, we will see that the first thing about application is that it has a landing page right here. So we'll come back here and I'll just show you how this is created. So I'll show you how this is created. So we have, so I'm going to add another page to it. Click on the plus sign. So when we click on the plus sign in Adalo, we can add predefined screens, or we can add predefined components, or we can add screens to it. And also we can go to the marketplace, like explore marketplace, and then we can actually see some of the components that have been created by Adalo itself, and other components that are available that have been created by other persons that you can use. And you can also start with some templates. So Adalo also has templates like user profile, account setting, user chart, a few of these templates that you can just use and add to your project, and it's going to make a whole lot of sense to you. But just because we are, kind of trying to learn the ropes of Adalo, we're just going to do it from scratch ourselves. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to add a screen. I'm going to add a blank one. I'm going to say welcome screen. That's going to be a screen, blank screen. I'm going to say create. And this is our welcome screen. So Adalo is a cool tool, but there's something it doesn't do well, and that's helping you to arrange everything on the screen, right? So it'd be good that you do yourself a favor and just categorize everything that's close to each other, right? Like the sign up screen, everything that has to do with the onboarding, just put everything in one place and your life is going to be a whole lot easier, right? So this is my onboarding screen right here. And I'm going to add a plus sign, and I'll add an image to it. I'm going to add an image to it, right? Because this is what we're designing right here, right? An image and a text. So I'm going to click on my plus sign and add a text to the bottom of it. And the text is going to say align. That's what the text is going to say. And then I can make this bold. I can increase this to say 40. Let's say 60, and extra bold. I'm going to pull this in the middle, right? And then I'm going to change my font. Okay, I needed something pretty thick, so I'm just going to make it like so. And that's what I'm going to do. Then for the image, I'm going to include an image right here, upload it right here. So we have like fill all the space, we'll have show images, don't crop. So one thing that you want to do when you're building with Adalo, because Adalo does not have a whole lot of UI features like align left, align right, align bottom, align top. It doesn't have so many of those features, except maybe you're using the layout features, right? Like so, you're using the layout feature, you're saying anchor to the right, anchor to the left, right? Sticky scrolling, but we're not going to be needing all that because we're just designing for mobile directly. So what you can do is that you can actually group everything. So when you group things, they stay together in a very neat position. So we're just gonna group it, right? And when you group some stuff, you can move everything around the way you want to move it around, right? So we're just gonna group it like so. That's what we're gonna do. So we're looking for the middle. That's what we're looking. So now we have our first page done. Congratulations, that's cool. And then the next page we want them to enter their email or their phone number, and then they can log in. So this just means that on this particular page, we don't really need this page anymore, right? We don't need this page anymore. This is what we need now. So we can edit styles, and then we can take this away. We can take this away like so, right? We can take it away, and so let's click styles again. This is 4%, so I'm going to come back to the screen and just hit it like so, right, and give it like 4%. That's fine. So we don't need this anymore. I'm going to come back to edit styles and remove the shadow, and I'm going to for the rectangle, I'm just going to remove the background for the rectangle. And now the reason why we're saying email password, right, is because of the form, right? That's the reason why we're saying email and password, just because of the form. So we can click on the form, we can say form fits, and then we can just take it away, right? Take it away and remove the label right there, and we would say enter email or phone number to log in. So we have single line or multi-line, and then we can say done. So if we come back here, we're seeing the input, right? So we're saying here. So let's come back here, and we have the form right here, and then we have the feed right here, and then let's just click on edit styles. So for rounding, we can put like 20, 30 for the rounding. Let's click on the rounding, not this one. So I think we missed that. So we're looking at the submit button. So edit style for the rounding of the submit button. So we're gonna put like 30 right there, and yeah, that's all we want to do. Just click on login, and that's all. So we want to ask them when people log in, what do we want to do? So what do we want to do? So on submit, it locks the user in and takes them to the home page, right? So where's our home page right there? So this is the thing about Adalo. You can have a way to rearrange all your screens on the page, right? So we have this right here, and we also have the sign up button. How does the sign up button look like? Okay, I think it's fine. So let's come back here for a sign up button. Similarly, we have the same thing. So we click on our form, click on our feed, we take it with the password, take it with this, and we just have the email attached to it, and then we'll click on our submit button, and then we'll style, and then we'll put in a rounding of 30 right there for the rounding, and we're clicking on our pages, and we're adding this. We're just copying our background color, and then we'll put in like so. Put in this, and we're just saying 4. And for this, we're taking away the rectangle. We're saying no, we don't want any background color. So this is it. So we have the sign up on the login page correctly. So the next thing we want to do is the home page, and this is the exciting part of it, where we're going to be showing our category, right? This is the exciting part of it, where we're going to be showing our category. So I'm going to design the home page, and I'm pretty sure that you'll be able to design the rest moving forward. So this is basically an intro to Adalo. I'm sure you'll find other videos in my channel showing you how Adalo works and what you can do with Adalo. So if we come back right here, and we we come back right here, and remember that you want to be grouping stuff. So we want to be able to tell how do we style our page. So you can see we have two groups on top, one showing the logo and the other one showing a message bar and a notification. So we have another one showing two groups, right? We have the good morning, we have the Ashley Robinson as a group, and then we have the image as another group, right? So you want to be doing stuff in terms of groups. So the first thing we want to do, we want to put an image. So we'll bring in an image in here and just make it as small as possible, and edit styles. So I'm gonna make it a 48 by 48 as the image, right? That's the image right here. This, open it right here, open it right here, and then the next thing we want to do is to add an icon. So this is an icon. What kind of icon is it? We have the message icon. We have the message icon, right? The next icon, we have the notification icon, the bell icon, right? And then what we want to do is to group both of these icons together. So that's the way you make things work in Adalo, by grouping stuff together, right? So we see the size of this icon, 24, and then we see the size of this image also, it's gonna be 24. So it's gonna be 24 by 24. So the reason why we're making size like this is so we can have some sort of uniformity. So we're going to highlight this two and highlight this one and just group. Call the group icon bar group. So we're grouping right here. So we're grouping right here like so, right? And then what are we looking for right here? We're looking for something. We're looking for the current user image. That's what we're looking for. But right now, as it is on the database, we really don't have a user. So just go ahead and add a user to it. User is going to be paul@gmail.com. Password is going to be 12728. Username Paul. Full name Paul. No code. Role. User. Description. My description. Profile image, I'm going to find an image. It uses my profile image. So and then I have category, cleaning, rate in dollars. I'm going to say 50, and that's fine. So this is just the reasons. This is just for us to have a way to pull in data from the backend, right? I think there's something we also missed right here when we talked about. There's something we also missed when we talked about role. So when the user is signing up, we need to ask them to choose a role. So right here, we're gonna add a feed to it. Add a feed called role, right? We're gonna ask them to choose a role. Yeah, we're gonna ask them to choose it to add a role to it, right? To add a role. But another way we can tell them, instead of asking them to type in the role, so we can come back here and create a database and just say role. Right, so that we'll be feeding the role directly from the database. So on this right here, we're just going to add the user. This first row is going to be a tasker, and the other one is going to be a homeowner. Right, and then we'll create a relationship. Next is going to be a relationship between that and the user. A user can have multiple roles. A user can only have one role. A role can have multiple users, right? So we'll come back here to our user and take away the former role we created before, which is this one, right? Please, if you don't understand me, you can go back again and check it out. So when we come back to our role feed, we'll just click on delete this, add visible role. Feed is going to be the role. And now you can see that what we have here, we now have the select, right? We now have the select button instead of a usual task. Why? Because we're pulling data directly from the backend, right? So since this is a beginner's tutorial, I'm going to add the password right here, and also right here, I'm going to add the password too. Right? So that's fine. And for this rectangle, I'm just going to take away the shadow. We don't want that. And then we're going to just pull in data ASAP. Sorry, it's getting pretty long, but I just want you to understand what it's all about. So we have the good morning, Ashley Robinson. So this is going to be username. So if we click on this and we'll put in the test right here, let's just use a placeholder that says good morning, right? Good morning, that's our test, right? And then let's put another one, the name of the person. It's gonna be like Paul, no code. We'll bring that in. And then we have the last one, and it's gonna be an image all over again. So it's also going to be an image. And this image is going to be, we're going to make it 40 by 40. And you can see we have this image right here. So this is what we're gonna do. We're just gonna add these two together, and we'll make it a list, right? Not a list, we'll just add them together and just bring them both together. That's what we'll do. So we added both of these two together, and we'll edit style, and just gonna give it like 130, right? I'm gonna give it a mean width of 130. That's fine. Can give it a height of 60. That's fine. So then I'm gonna click on this and add it to this. So we're gonna have make group, then push it upward a bit. So you can see that our UI is taking shape a bit. Next thing we're gonna have is a search bar, but I'm just gonna leave the search bar for the sake of time. I'm gonna add a new test that says popular category. So just gonna pull in the category for you to see. Popular category, and then I'm gonna increase the test. I'm going to increase the test right here to 20. So it's cool to use smaller tests in your application if you want to. And then the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to pull in a list, right? So this is a list, right? Right here is a list. You can actually put in a list, or you can create a custom list for yourself if you want to. Like what you see here is a custom list because we have the list on top, right? We have the list on top, and we have the name on top, and then we have the picture at the bottom of it. So you can create a custom list for yourself. So how do you create? You can use one here. So this is one here, right? This is the one created by Adalo. All you just have to do is to pull in the list and say what the list is all about, right? Which is cool. But also you can create your own list yourself. So how do you do that? You create a card. So pick a right angle, right? We just create a card, a usual card like we do. Yeah, make sure that it can fit like two parts of the screen. So if you duplicate the card, how's it gonna look like? So if we duplicate the card, it's not going to be enough for our screen, so we just reduce it. So Adalo does not really give you so much flexibility over the UI, so you have to manage with what you've got. You have to do well with what you've got. So I'm going to give this a rounding of 20. So I'm going to give it a rounding of 20. And I'm gonna put a card in it. So this is gonna be the name of the category name, and then I'm gonna pull in an image in it. Right, that's what we have here. So we have the image and we have the name of the category. So I'm gonna pull in an image in it, like so. Put it in here. Right, and then I'll give it also a rounding of 20. Like so. right? And then right here, I'm gonna give it a shadow, right? Just gonna give it a shadow, and the color of the shadow is gonna be white still. And don't forget, we're giving everything this same color, the background. So I'm gonna pull the background right here. Don't want it to be white. So for this, we're just taking this away for this rectangle. We'll take this away, no background color. No background color. Okay, yeah, we have a background color, and that background color is white. The background color is white. And then I'm just gonna take this away. Right? So for this, we're gonna say, it's gonna say, we're gonna click both of this, right? Click the outer, just click everything you have here. Just highlighted everything. I'll make a group, right? Highlight everything. I'll make a list now, right? And I would say how many columns do I want in this list? 2. And item spacing, I want to be a bit far from each other. And say, what kind of item is this going to be? What kind of item is this going to be? It's going to be a list of categories, right? So push it upwards a little bit. There's going to be a list of categories. I'm going to say what type of, it's a list of category, right? All the category. And I'm going to click on the name now. So you see that I'll be able to use the magic text, category name. If I click on this, I'm going to be able to click on the current category image, right? So if I click on this now, I can also tell how many, maximum of 8, since we're 2, 2, and 2. I can click and get a maximum of 8 if I want to, right? So that's how you basically pull data into Adalo and pull data out of Adalo, just like so. So this is a brief introduction to Adalo. Time is fast spent, so let me know if you like this video, and I'll continue and I'll make a few more on this same app, on how we keep on building this app. I'm pretty sure you've learned something, so you can go ahead and run your application. So that's basically the way you get introduced to Adalo. So I'm pretty sure that now that you've seen this, you'll be able to walk through Adalo and see what you can create with it. Do let me know what you think about this tutorial, and I'll be glad to create a whole lot more showing you how to go around using Adalo to build mobile applications for yourself. Thank you. I'll see you in another lesson. Thank you.